Hello Aggies, coming up on ATV News, homecoming week started with Mr. USU driving the crowd crazy.
It's called a camp out, but it lacked the sleep aspect.
And it's official, nobody kisses more than the Aggies do.
In sports, everyone's had something to say about the football team's loss to Colorado State. We'll get it straight from Turbin himself, and we'll show you what happens when the ladies take the field. Weather and complete homecoming coverage coming up right now.
Welcome to ATV News, I'm Ryan Bayless.
And I'm Carly Lichty. We have a show full of USU's homecoming activities.
Here at USU, homecoming means traditions like the football game, alumni gatherings, parades, and of course, the Mr. USU contest.
It's a pageant with all the elements, swimsuits, formal wear, and talents, but the genders are reversed.
You may only see a group of coordinated dancing boys once a year.
We all come to Mr. USU to have like a funny night or to get a great laugh, but at the end of the day, the role as Mr. USU is what's most important.
The contestants were judged in 4 categories: swimwear, talent, evening wear.
Thank you,
And we are
MC.
reporting
The spring
final
is really nice and
question.
cool.
First
Suit
up
was
was the
crafted
swimwear
by
competition.
With love.
The
by Kit
contestants
Carter.
were judged
The ladies
on their
don't
summer
forget
style. Next was the talent competition.
All right, so tonight I'm teaching you one of my best talents ever. That's kissing.
Why do I feel you can do much better? The leaves collect at my feet.
The boys made their final appearance to the crowd during the combined evening wear
Are you
and
a
final
true Aggie?
question competition.
If yes,
Do you mind?
Some answers were
And I
silly,
can yell really loud. Love you guys.
but others were as serious as
Thank you,
any
Joyce.
female
I think if we
pageant.
unify all of our calendars together, we'll know exactly what's happening on what day, so we can all attend these great events.
Even though they all had their fun, only one would wear the crown.
I'm glad that I get to let the pressure go.
This year's Mr. USU goes to Mr. Diversity Columbia.
Meredith Kinney, ATV News.
I'm going to miss TJ Pratt as Mr. USU. There are no appearances or responsibilities associated with the Mr. USU titles, so he will be able to enjoy a year with all the free swag and bling he won.
Students and people from around Cache Valley lined the streets Saturday in anticipation of the 2011 homecoming parade. Last year, the weather was cold and gloomy, but this year, the sun was shining. Music played, people danced, and candy was thrown in all directions. Those in attendance were entertained as the parade made its way down Main Street. From the USU Marching Band to the Tueller School of Dance, there was something for everyone. Tractors of all shapes, colors, and sizes crawled onto the streets in this year's tractor parade.
A parade of tractors wound its way through the main thoroughfare of USU campus today. Although the tractors were very large and lumbering, they made their way through the narrow streets, much to the awe and amazement of onlooking spectators.
yeah, I'm really excited. We grew up in a farm community, so it's really neat to come and support the ag school, and we'll have a fun time, huh?
The parade moved forward as more and more tractors continued to roll by, growing larger and larger with each passing minute.
Although it runs through the main road on campus that backs up traffic a bit, the parade is an important reminder of the van accident that occurred 5 years ago.
We're celebrating it, and it was initiated because of the
of the van accident, that we knew that it was something that the people who were killed in that and the survivors would appreciate. So the parade is really just showcasing kind of the future of where agriculture is with ag machinery and some of the new technologies that are out there.
Randall Henry, ATV News.
The large tractors were loaned to USU by local companies who rent to the valley.
So, should I get a tractor and ride it around instead of the golf cart?
If you really wanted to, Ryan.
All right. Are you desperate for some action?
It's too bad you missed your chance for a good and interesting time last week on the quad.
When we come back, we'll see what kind of fun the Aggies got into, in the name of history, of course. Students spent a night on the quad in sleeping bags, tents, and bean bags as they participated in True Aggie Night and other homecoming activities. Jessica Black has more on the story.
Fierce, icy winds didn't stop students from pitching their tents on campus early Friday evening in preparation for a night filled with record-breaking events and late-night silliness.
It's a good opportunity to really get out and meet the rest of the student body, socialize with each other, experience what Utah State's all about, tradition, and get pumped up for the homecoming game.
If you want to make someone true Aggie, you don't have to do that.
I brought my love sack up, and I'm just going to stay in my love sack and just sleep in that with a nice little blanket and cozy up. It just sounds, I don't know, it's pretty out here. It's like the lights are all out and stuff, and I don't know, you got the big A up there, and it's just, I don't know, it looks fun. It looks fun out here, and it's, good night to sleep under the stars. It's nice and clear, so.
As the evening played on, the games and festivities eventually died down, and all the campers shivered into their sleeping bags. When morning broke, I caught back up with Nick and talked to him about his experience.
Currently, there's only 3 other girls left. We had a couple other people here, but the numbers dwindled when it got colder, and they were like, meh. So, yeah, we feel all hardcore now. It's great. It was like camping out, but then like fun, because there's people all over. Like, you kind of felt like a hippie, because it was like all these people. Yeah. Look at all these ladies. Yeah.
When McDonald's unexpectedly ran out of food for the morning, some students packed up their tents and headed out, while others just simply rolled over and went back to bed. This is Jessica Black with ATV News.
I'm glad I had a space heater in my tent. Many of the students who slept on the quad said they'd never slept the night outside on the campus. Some said despite the cold weather conditions, they wouldn't hesitate to participate again next year.
The Hello Walk was revived by students last Friday to keep a fading tradition alive.
The Hello Walk is a stretch of sidewalk from Old Main to the business building. On designated days, students are encouraged to say hello to one another. The intent is to promote interaction and friendship among students.
The Hello Walk started on September 25th when a very generous donor donated enough money to build this very nice wide sidewalk that goes all the way from the Old Main building clear over to the Science building.
The Hello Walk was donated to Utah State University in 1961 with only one stipulation, and that is on the day it was donated on September 25th, students would say hello to each other.
The difference we're doing this year is that instead of on the 25th, which is a Sunday, we actually want to do it on the 23rd because there will actually be people on the walk.
The tradition was started in 1961 but has slowly become less prominent. Some students were willing to give their honest opinions on the tradition.
I don't know anything about the Hello Walk.
I don't think you need a specific day where you should say hi to people. I think you should always say hello to people on that walkway, maybe on another walkway to another building from another building.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'm not so big on the name tag wearing thing, but I'm all about saying hello to people and I like the Free Scotsman dog.
It's a fantastic tradition here at this wonderful, wonderful institution we call Utah State University. And it's where certain times you get to walk down this beautiful little path here and say hello to people. In that manner, you can approach everybody and show them that we do care about one another, and we here at Utah State are one happy family.
Hopefully in the future, more and more students will be excited to revive this tradition as the student population increases. Nadia Johari, ATV News.
The Hello Walk tradition is one of the longest traditions here at Utah State University. Aggies got a lot of action last week, but it wasn't on the football field.
Almost 1,500 students gathered together last Friday, kissing their way into the record books. But were they playing with peaches, plums, or lollipops?
Ready. Peach?
plum, or lollipop. Aggies had a blast sharing time and saliva together as they made their mark on history. Their goal was to pass a kiss down a chain of people, and over 1,000 students showed up to do the job.
Utah State University actually held a world record about 10 years ago for the most people kissing in one spot at the same time. That record's been broken, so we just wanted to bring a kissing record back to Utah State.
It's always fun to be part of something that's bigger than yourself, and I think that's what Utah State does best, is coming together.
And come together, they did.
I've judged a few things, but nothing like this, no. I think some really enjoyed it, and some I wasn't quite sure if they did or not.
The previous record was held by a university in Indiana with 303 students. USU completely tore that apart with their grand total of 1,450 people. That's 3,000 kisses, and a lot of possible cases of mono.
I've always thought that Utah State University was the happiest place on earth besides Disneyland. I guess today we've got a record to prove it.
Rhoda Anderson, ATV News.
It's safe to say that that record was demolished, and hopefully no one will be breaking it again anytime soon.
And if they do, the Aggies will just have to kiss again, which I don't think they'll mind. We'll be right back with your 5-day forecast.
Five-day weather forecast. You would think that with fall beginning last Friday, the weather would cool down a bit, but this week it's going to be in the high 80s all week long. Today, the temperature will reach a high of 80. A high of 84 degrees and have an overnight low of 46 degrees. So if you're planning on going out tonight, be sure to take a jacket. Thursday will be sunny and will reach a high of 85 degrees with a low of 45. Friday is going to be a beautiful day with a high of 87, and first in the morning we're going to have some clouds, but they'll clear up by the afternoon and it'll be a beautiful sunny afternoon. The temperature in the high 80s will be a great day to go out and play in the sun. The overnight low will reach a 49 degrees. Also, the weather will be great for the USU-BYU football game that night. Saturday will be mostly sunny, reaching a high of 84 degrees with a low of 50. It should be a great start to the weekend. Sunday, there's a 30% chance of rain with some isolated thunderstorms, and the high of that day will be 75 and a low will be 47. So it looks like we'll have plenty of sunshine for the remainder of this week, but be prepared for some rain and thunderstorms on Sunday. We'll have that's it for your 5-day weather forecast, Aggies. We'll have a great week, and we will be back with your ATV Sports right after this break.
It was a heartbreaking end to homecoming week last Saturday with a loss from the Aggie football team. With over 22,000 fans in Romney Stadium supporting the guys, you'd have thought we could have never lost. But it was a close game, and you've got to give credit where credit is due. Bailey McMurdy shows us the positives.
Over 22,000 fans rushed into Romney Stadium to see their Aggies take on the Colorado State Rams, and the stats for the Weber game were impressive 2 weeks ago. True freshman quarterback Chucky Keaton passed for 166 yards, Robert Turbin rushed for a season high of 180 yards, and Bobby Wagner had 10 tackles, bringing his career total to 319. And gameplay was impressive for the first 4 quarters for the Aggies against CSU. Rushing wasn't a problem, as seen here by Tavares McMillan. Running back Michael Smith showed that the Aggies were in it to win it, running for the touchdown, only to be knocked out of bounds at the 12-yard line. And Kerwin Williams, he brought in the first touchdown of the night, bringing hope back to the Aggie fans that a W was in sight. And you can't forget the man Turbin. When is Turbin not bringing the heat for the Aggies? Adding 4 touchdowns to the board, he was the reason the Aggies stayed alive in a game that started to look grim when Eric Motes dropped a punt return with just 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. So, Turbin turned up the heat with 2 touchdowns in 2 overtimes. But his stellar effort and hard gameplay was overshadowed by a heartbreaking attempt for a 2-point conversion to win the game. The first attempt was a pass interference, and the second attempt, Turbin was left high and dry, leading the Rams to victory.
Obviously another disappointing loss. Just too many mistakes on our side. Couldn't keep control of the football, too many turnovers, and when you do that, you're not going to win very many football games.
At the end of the day, we'll get the thing flipped when we get the thing flipped. That's the bottom line. There is no magic wizard that's going to walk in and make you a good football team. Players win games, coaches coach them the right way, put them in an opportunity to be able to win games, and then you'll flip the thing. And that's exactly what I told the kids at the end of the day. This thing will flip in our favor when we flip it in our favor. There's no other way to look at it other than that.
It doesn't matter if it's BYU or Fresno or New Mexico State. You know, we got to figure out a way to get here tomorrow night and you know, evaluate the film and find a way to rebound quick because, you know, BYU's going to be ready.
Thanks, Bailey. Turbin is right. BYU is coming off a win against the University of Central Florida, and they have some steam behind them. The Aggies will step foot into Lavelle Edwards Stadium this Friday at 6 p.m. to try and retain hold of that old wagon wheel. Nothing would be more sweet than to see the Aggie football team, who seems to be fighting their hardest this season, to win against BYU. Who says girls can't play football? Last Thursday, many girls laced up their shoes and played in the championship powder puff game. Kelsey Keller was on the sidelines and has more of the story for us.
The girl sitting next to you in math class may have been roughing it out on Merlin Olsen Field last week. In celebration of homecoming week, the championship powder puff game was held Thursday night.
While it was exciting for the girls to play at Merlin Olsen Field, not much time was spent here at the practice field.
I was asking for when I was going to get my team and never really heard. I didn't see my team roster until Monday night. That scared me a little bit. Tried to have practice Tuesday, didn't work out. So basically we had one practice and we came out today and scored 41-0.
Despite both teams only holding one practice, the Bearcats team showed up to win. Early on in the game, the Bearcats snagged an interception running it just outside their end zone. And on defense, the Bananas just couldn't seem to stop the Bearcats, even though they put a lot of pressure on Bearcats quarterback Sarah Evans. Evans tells us more about the offense.
I definitely think that our outside runners were very good to our team because they would run real quick out there because the other team would be blitzing me, and so I'd have not a lot of time to throw it to them, but they'd get out there quick and we could pass it far and they'd catch it and score touchdowns.
While the Bearcats came out on offense scoring touchdown after touchdown, the Bananas struggled to gain ground. They attempted to run the ball several times, but the Bearcats' defense was laid on thick. This made it difficult for the Bananas to make it down the field. The Bananas also made other errors on offense, which cost them the game. In the end, the Bearcats won 41-0, but both teams walked off the field with a bit of a hop to their step. This is Kelsey Keller, ATV News.
For not having many practices, some of those girls sure seemed to know what they were doing. The Lady Ag volleyball team had 2 games last week, hoping to spike more wins into their 6-7 record.
It was the Western Athletic Conference opener for volleyball, and it was a great way to start off conference play. The fans even dressed like genies, hoping to bring the magic to a struggling Aggie team. And it seems like the genie helped, because USU soared for the first 2 sets against the San Jose State Spartans. Utah State began the 3rd set on an 8-1 run and was never threatened as it coasted to the 25-12 victory. USU hit .417 in the final set and held San Jose State to a sad .040 hitting percentage. The win brought their record to a 7-7, and it was 1-0 in WAC play. While the ladies went into the second game of the week on a high, looking to challenge nationally ranked Hawaii, the fans were out in full force, waiting in anticipation as the Aggies steamrolled through the first set. And then, you know what? Utah State used a 9-0 run in the first set to turn a 16-12 deficit into a 21-16 advantage en route to its 4-point win. Sorensen led USU with 5 kills in the opening set as the Aggies hit .186 and the Rainbow Wahine hit .116. But the Aggies quickly fell to the next 3 sets as Hawaii warmed up.
In the first set, we just came out and we were just like, we're just going to go and we're going to swing hard and we're going to play hard and play with some passion. So I think we did that in the first set.
We have to be able to sustain stuff for a long period of time, and I think when I look at us, I think we're getting there, but we're not getting there fast enough. We need to get there a little bit quicker.
I thought we just kind of started making little errors, and one thing kind of led to another, and it just kind of built upon itself. And we're a really emotional team, and so when we don't play with the same emotion, we don't play excited and happy all the time, it kind of gets us down a little bit, I guess. And so that kind of went downhill, I think.
This loss leaves the Aggies with a 7-8 season. After the game, Bailey sat down with former All-American Liz MacArthur. She recorded her 8th double-double of the season and 20th of her career, with 17 kills and 12 digs to lead the Aggies to victory against the San Jose Spartans. She had 16 kills during the Hawaii game, adding 3 digs and 2 blocks to her stat sheet. MacArthur is the only senior on the team, and it's definitely different than what she's used to.
It's been an adjustment for me to be the only senior. I'm used to having people to look up to and people to kind of take charge of what's going on. But I've been able to learn from the people that I've looked up to, and I've been trying to take control a little bit more and be more proactive. My personality's a little bit more reserved in that aspect, and so I've had to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I'm trying to do that and trying to lead by example.
Let's hope Liz can lead her team to victory as they take on Louisiana Tech and New Mexico State this weekend. That's it for ATV Sports. Stay tuned for more ATV news.
The Utah Giant pumpkin growers held their weigh-in last weekend, and there's a new state record. One of the entries was grown right here in Cache Valley. 8-year-old Iris Ford of Hyde Park started with seeds from Canada and pollinated her pumpkin herself with help from her dad, who is a plant expert. The Fords carefully cut, moved, and cleaned the pumpkin to get it ready for the weigh-in.
Just see how much it weighs and what place it will get in. My mom thinks it's going to be in the top 10.
The Fords guessed a little high. Their pumpkin took 26th place at 371 pounds.
That's the end of the story.
Beaver Mountain is installing a new ski lift on its Little Beaver slope and is hoping the new lift will benefit skiers and provide quicker and faster transportation to the top of the slope. Workers began installing towers for the lift, which is approximately the same size as the old lift, but is newer and can carry 3 passengers per seat instead of the original 2.